Hey,
And
I think we're
here.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, the gang's all here. We can begin, huh?
We can. All right, let's play our theme song. I'm so glad. Tina's painting in the background. That's so
the
cool.
coolest thing ever.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Yay! That's so awesome. We're so glad you're here, and we have so much to share with you today.
I know.
So here we go.
Lots and lots and lots.
A perfect outcome to all things. Here's a show. Yeah, a perfect outcome to all things is a show. Yeah, I'm getting stronger every day because my faith leads the way. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. In every situation, there's a blessing somewhere. Come gather, brothers and sisters, and we'll see that it is there. Ooh, I need you, you need me. Yes, you do. And that's how our happiness is guaranteed. Take it, boys.
And now, in all your doings, be you blessed. Through you is ushered in a world unseen, unheard, yet truly there. Holy are you, and in your light, the world reflects your holiness. For you are not alone and friendless. I give thanks for you and join your efforts on behalf of God, knowing that they are on my behalf as well, and for all those who walk to God with us.
Sing it with me. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. I'm getting stronger every day because my faith leads the way. A perfect outcome to all things is assured. A perfect outcome to all things, yeah, is assured.
Wee doggy!
And that is what happens.
Well. There we go. Hey, Shauna's here too. Hey.
No.
How you doing, sweeties? Look. I'm so happy to see all of you. As you can tell,
I know.
We're
if
both
if you tuned in early, I was gonna weapon my eyes.
We're both a little verklempt today, and I can't think of any greater place to be than right here in the sanctuary with everybody, and I've missed you a lot.
What have you been doing?
Well, let me tell you what's been going on, y'all.
Okay.
All right, so last week I wasn't here. I was traveling, and I was doing a pride event in North Conway, New Hampshire. This is a very tiny town in in the beautiful White Mountains in New Hampshire. And so they had asked me to come and host their Pride Festival and also do some drag queen story hour readings. Now, before I got there, a group organized to protest my coming. And it got to be a little sticky. And but I went, everything was fine. I kept saying I trust my brothers and sisters who are one with me.
Yeah.
And in my defenselessness, my safety lies. And it was true. So we did the readings, and there was a whole line of protesters out there. And just in case you're wondering what goes on in a drag story hour, I'm dressed head to toe in a butterfly outfit, y'all. Nothing sexy, believe me. And I'm reading these cute little books, like this one, my favorite one, Love the World, which says the whole message is love yourself and love the world. So that's what I'm doing out there.
Beautiful as a butterfly.
As dressed as a butterfly.
Dressed as a butterfly.
Oh, I know.
Thank you, Arizona.
There's a whole cocoon reveal.
Yeah.
And the caterpillar is,
I start out as a caterpillar, then I put on a cocoon, and then I come out and I become a monarch butterfly. Well, the kids love it. We're crawling around on the floor, acting like caterpillars and reading cute little books and playing together and all of this. So we got ready to leave, and I have an assistant, a lovely mother of 6 who's there, attending with me, a member of the
class mom.
Yeah, she was she was a wonderful lady, with part of the community and everything like that, assisting me and all of that. Well, as I said, I'm covered with a wig and head to toe in a butterfly outfit. I change and I just put my hair up in a bun and I have a little shawl on and I'm pushing my granny cart, right? But my friend, she's dressed really elaborately with lots of makeup on. She also had butterfly wings and a sexy, cute dress that looked really great on her.
There were people who remembered who showed up as butterflies from last year.
Yeah, so
they showed up as the kids.
Everybody
and stuff
came
showed up
as butterflies, and so this wonderful woman did the same. So I've taken off my costume and we're going out to the car, and there's still protesters. And guess who they protested? Guess who they yelled at? My friend,
the
not
mother.
me. They thought she was the drag queen. So that was just a story of perception, right? I know we get so involved in our stories and we get all worked up and everything, and
Believing them.
And we believe them and all this crazy stuff. Whew. Okay, well then, last Sunday, I left New Hampshire to go to Vermont because one of my drag queen sisters has passed away. Her name is Marguerite LeMay, and we had a big memorial service, and so I was leading the memorial service. Actually, I want to read this poem here in a second. I was leading this memorial service, and after it was over, we went outside to have fellowship, and the smoke started rolling in from Canada, and it turned the whole sky orange. And oh, Tina says that could be a children's book on perception. Yeah, it could. It really could. So anyway, the smoke comes rolling in, and we weren't expecting it, so nobody had masks or were prepared for it or anything like that. So, I was breathing in the smoke. We were eating outside. We were having a barbecue. Like all this stuff. So the next morning I woke up sick to my stomach, coughing, sneezing, hoarse, and I had to drive home that day. Well, the next 2 days, I stayed 2 days in Vermont. Then I drove home on Wednesday. I was still sick. And I had been sick. Today's the first day I've not been sick, felt sick, since last Sunday. I've been laying on the couch, just like,
And we've had 4 days. We've had 4 days of smoke here.
Bad air quality.
So guess who's got the croup now?
So now he's getting hoarse.
Yeah. So we'll get through. We'll get through this. If I have to shut the mic off really quick and go, you'll
know
understand.
why.
I'm coughing up a toilet paper farm.
So anyway, I drive home on Wednesday, and just in time for our Wednesday night class that we have a Course in Miracles class every Wednesday night, which you're invited to if you'd like. Arizona comes, but so I made it home in time for our class. And in the middle of the class, I was so happy to see Glen and, of course, my beautiful kitty, Gracie. And in the middle of the class, Gracie starts howling.
Yeah.
And so I go over to comfort her and see what was wrong. And when I started petting her, she calmed down and she started purring. And so she just stayed there and she slept, and we went to bed. And I woke up the next morning, y'all, and she was gone. She passed. I know. So,
that was Thursday.
Wow, that was
morning.
Thursday morning, okay? So, now Gracie is a part of our family. I know you guys know how that is.
Yeah.
And
you know,
so
rescue kitty, and and we've had her
for 7 years.
For 7 years, and like 7 years ago was really the beginning of some major changes in our life, and so
Yes.
It like put a bow on this transition, this period of our
Yes.
lives
Yes.
in New York City, especially since we're
moving to Vermont.
we're trying to get to Vermont as quickly as we can. So this really puts a bow on it. But it's like, man,
That was tough.
just so quick. Yes, it's quick, and how that we've been talking a lot about what the skill development it is to like be here, through it. To like just don't look away. Just it's okay with whatever happens. Just don't look away. Be here for it. It's not, just that's been like no. You're just like, oh no. It was like, because here it comes again. So it's just to work with that as like skills. Even work with that as skills development has been like
Exactly.
wow, something really to work. Something really to work with.
Exactly.
Like what we're talking about.
Well, and so thank you for the kind comments.
Yeah.
And Gracie, we think she was at least 14 because we were told she was 7 when we adopted her.
Yeah.
So she lived a beautiful life. Thank you, Sina. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so all of this, thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. All of this has been
So 2 funerals. With 2, like a good friend of ours, of ours.
Yeah, Marguerite and then Gracie, and I took Gracie's body to the crematorium. It'll be returned to us in a week. But anyway, I'm sharing all this to say this is a big teaching for us, right? And not sure what it's all about yet, although we do know that, well, for me,
perfect outcome is assured.
A perfect outcome is assured. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And we know it's, clearing out for the next thing to happen, And so we wish our dear Gracie, well on her journey, and our dear friend Marguerite well on her journey. And I wanted to read this poem for you before we go to the lessons and the rest of our sharing today. But I found this by Khalil Gibran, and I wrote it at Marguerite's memorial, and it also feels like it's appropriate for Gracie. You would know the secret of death, but how can you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depths of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust these dreams, for in them is hidden the gate to eternity. Your fear of death is but the trembling of the shepherd when he stands before the king, whose hand is to be laid upon him in honor. Is the shepherd not joyful beneath his trembling, that he shall wear the mark of the king? Yet is he not more mindful of his trembling? For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt into the sun? And what is it to cease breathing but to free the breath from its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance.
Khalil Gibran.
Khalil Gibran.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, and so it really is amazing when the I don't know, when the poem mentioned what is breathing, but to lay it down and experience the unencumbered breath of life. I was thinking of Gracie because she was having a hard time breathing, and the smoke
Yeah,
was hard on her.
Yeah.
So that might have been the transition point for her. I'm glad y'all liked the poem. And so we woke up the next day with Gracie gone, and before we could, it was at 5 o'clock in the morning when I woke up and discovered her. And so when we kept her here because I couldn't do anything with her until the vet opened at 9, and so we had our meditation with
Like
Rhoda,
we always do.
like we always do, and like always, Gracie joined us every morning for meditation. So we had our last meditation with her, and then it just so happened that that day's lesson was part of the review, lesson 180. God is but love, and therefore so am I. By grace I live, by grace I am released. There is no cruelty in God, and none in me.
So
I know.
it's a
By grace I am released. I just, oh my goodness. So, all of that to say, we are still
Thanks for
God
listening.
wink. Yes, thanks for listening and helping us share. I know. Tina says, my animals are my children. Gracie is pure love now. Yes,
Yeah.
Tina, that's exactly it. So, after Thursday,
yeah.
we kept going, of course, in the daily lessons. And the next day, Friday, was the lesson that I have been using all weekend. I trust my brothers who are one with me. And then Saturday, I will be still an instant and go home.
And that's where we're gonna continue on that theme. That this is like the sermon today and the lesson, and
Yeah.
we've been talking about it after that, and we're going to continue on that theme with today's lesson from the Course of Miracles.
We are. And then today's lesson in the workbook is I call upon God's name and on my own.
And on my own. Yeah.
God's name is holy, but no holier than yours. So hello, holiness
I
in
know.
The room. Holy Sina, holy Tina, holy Arizona, holy Rana, holy Shauna, holy everybody that's listening, holy Gracie, holy Marguerite.
Yeah.
All love.
Yeah.
All love.
And the word that she's going to use tonight in the Course of Miracles is glory.
Yeah.
So glory.
So I'm going to ring the bell and breathe, and then we're going to share actually a song called Grace Goes With Me. And I made a video about this a couple of years ago when Gracie was still here and featuring pictures of her. So we're just going to celebrate today and honor all of our ancestors and those that have passed in our lives recently and maybe not so recently, but a special day of honoring our ancestors. So here we go. Today we gather in this sanctuary. We're so blessed and so grateful to be with family. And we co-create together right now this unconditional circle of love that encompasses everything that we like and everything that we do not like. Today we invite all of our ancestors into this room with us to honor and celebrate all the gifts that they have given us. Gracie, we think of you today. We love you and thank you for the blessing that you were in our lives. Blessed be to all of us, and so it is.
Grace goes with me. Wherever I go, she goes with me. Sacred mystery. Wherever I go, grace goes with me. Wherever I go, sacred mystery. Wherever I go, her light surrounds me, her love enfolds me, her power protects me, and the presence of grace watches over me. For wherever I am, she is, and all is well. Grace goes with me wherever I go. Grace goes with me wherever I go. Grace goes with me. Sacred mystery wherever I go. Grace goes with me wherever I go. Sacred mystery wherever I go. Her light surrounds me, her love enfolds me, her power protects me, and the presence of grace watches over me. For wherever I am, she is, and all is well. Grace goes with me wherever I go. Wherever I go. Wherever I go.
Goodness gracious. There we go. Blessings and love.
If you're following along, and I know you are, because you're all really, really good course students, so you're wondering, I know you're wondering which of those 12.8 pages we're going to look at this week, right?
No.
Very, very curious. Well,
I am too.
we're going to look at 15? 15?
I think
16.
Chapter 16.
Chapter 16. So we just spent 3 weeks on the Holy Instant. So how important do you think that is? Pretty important. Central idea to A Course in Miracles, what we've been talking about all day, is being present. So the next chapter is how to see through the world, how to see through it, how to be on to its tricks and how it keeps getting formed. You know, literally to see through the illusion that we think is this world that we have to pay attention to. Like I say in the beginning, a world unseen, unheard, yet truly there. So what in the world is something that's unheard and unseen and all of that, yet truly there? What in the world is that? And that's what I call togetherness, or this moment. What is whole, what is spirit, what is true, all power and all truth and all knowledge. And that's why it's so difficult to be here, right? To be like, We don't contain all of that. That's the problem. We're letting go of the thing that thinks it needs to be contained or controlled or things like that. That's what we're discovering. It was this whole process of like, oh, I don't have to effort this. This is like sort of happening by itself, you know? The moment's happening whether I'm participating in it or not.
That's true.
Right?
That's so
true. My mother used to, when I would get so upset in high school, she goes, "Oh, the world will go on, darling. The world will go on." You know, for me, the world was ending, right? Like that in that moment, it was like all I could think about. The world is this big, right? How did the world get that big? Did it suddenly shrink down? It was never that big, right? It was never that big. And my mother's like going, drama queen, you know, because my mother can see through it. My mother being, you know, an adult, you know, person with a fully developed mind when I, you know, at the time, was looking at me going, oh my God, what is he looking at? What in the world is he looking at? You know, so be on to your mind. Like, be a good mom. Like, be a good, it's like, and like what we like to say is like, wahiguru, you know, the teacher, right? What's the teacher? Well, do you trust, is there some voice in your head that you do trust? There might be a bunch you don't. Is there one you do? You know, work with that. Start, like, you know, we've been saying, let's start where you are. That's why Gracie was like such a big I knew that Gracie was such a big turning point in our life, because it was one of the really first times when I did something I was prompted to do that I didn't know why I was doing it.
Right.
And, you know, just was like, okay, I'm just getting this really strong thing to do this. I've never done it, you know, so whatever. And it was...
Well, tell them how it happened.
We were walking by a pet store, and...
It was a veterinarian.
A pet store.
A vet.
That
had adopted animals. I mean...
Yeah. I don't know this. I didn't know this. We're walking by a vet, and we had been talking about for years, because if we ever do a cat, it'd have to be an old one or whatever like that, and we're not going to go look for a cat. There's plenty of cats. So if we ever, like, whatever, that was just like a way we talked or whatever like that. We're not going to go pursue a cat. We live in a tiny place or whatever like that. And it was like, go in the vet. They have your cat. It was like, go and do that. And there was this, yes, she wanted last night. The owner died, and, you know, we need a good place. She's pregnant. She's all got her shots. We know her, and she's everything like that.
So the minute we walked into the vet, the first thing I saw was Gracie, and I went immediately to her because she was laying on her back, and you could see how big she was.
She's had a
She was
couple of
laying
babies
on her back, and her belly was up, and I reached over to pet her belly, and she just looked at me, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is my kitty."
So that practice, that every time I look at Gracie was a reminder that listening to the voice that I can trust that voice, that good things happen, like, you know, that I want to happen, right? The experiences I need to have to bring me, you know, to be able to see through the world, which brings us to where we are in the lesson. So the way that I like to talk about seeing through the world is like placing reminders everywhere, like I do with Gracie. It's like, oh, and when you tell stories, place reminders about how they turned out differently than you thought. Like, you tell the real story, right? You know, to the reminders and prompts like and so with that. So one of the things that in Tibet is called a prayer wheel. Have you ever seen those small, like, hand-drubbed prayer wheels? And Patanjali's a sutra is built on those the rat-a-tat-tat of that prayer wheel. Patanjali's sutra, it's beautiful. It's also hard to. I've never been able to memorize it. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to memorize it. But it's that reminder to be present. There's God's voice is speaking right now. Like, you know, there is now in knowledge speaking right now, and you don't hear it. But you turn on the prayer wheel. You get present to the prayer, and it's like, oh, I'm off now. I've left the building. I didn't know it. I left the building, but the prayer wheel brings us back to, or it could be anything, right?
Mantras do that
Mantras
for me.
do
And
that.
my songs. That's the reason why I write my songs.
So, are there things in your life that you put in place to make sure that you have this memory pattern to change the patterns that you've been unconsciously programming, right? Or the society's been unconscious. I have a friend who every 15 minutes their phone flashes something at them.
So a positive,
positive thing.
affirmation.
An app that puts it right up front and does every 15 minutes on her phone.
Love yourself. Love the world.
Love yourself. Love the world. So we're gonna. So with that idea, with the meme idea of a prayer wheel and tools we use to bring us into the program, or bring us into the moment, bring us into what is powerful and meaningful. Chapter 16 is called the forgiveness of illusion. So of course it's about, this whole chapter is about seeing through the constructed world that we keep saying is true.
Right.
We had a good time on. We had a really good time on Wednesday.
Yes, we
on
did
this,
with this. But before I read today, I want to thank Shauna for being here
I know.
last week in reading. Thank you so much, because I wasn't able to be here. So thank you, Shauna. So we're on chapter 16, the forgiveness of illusions.
And this is the section 7.
Section 7, the end of illusions. And it starts like this. It is impossible to let the past go without relinquishing the special relationship, which is what I just had to do. For the special relationship is an attempt to reenact the past and change it. It really is. Oh, okay. The special relationship takes vengeance on the past. By seeking to remove suffering in the past, it overlooks the present in its preoccupation with the past and its total commitment to it. It has no meaning in the present, and if it means nothing now, it cannot have any real meaning at all. And who can give you what you think the past deprived you of?
Good question. Why don't you read that question again?
And just who can give you what you think the past deprived you of?
It kind of makes you laugh, though, doesn't it? So this she calls clinging to past evils, right? It's something happened in the past, and she gives us a definition of how to recognize special relationships. She lists them out. She goes, these are imagined slights, remembered pain, past disappointments, perceived injustices, deprivations. And she says the special relationship overlooks the present and is totally committed to the past. And it has no inherent meaning, which means the meaning changes all the time.
Right.
With the story, right? So, and the purpose of these special relationships are maybe they're triggers. Maybe you could use that word, these special relationships. The purpose of them is to repair a wounded self-esteem. She says, it's to repair that wounded self-esteem. We're going to reinvent the past and change it and correct the past evil that was done to this character, this me. And right, so if in that paradigm, your reason for existing is the past is here to be fixed, right? To fix everything that went wrong in the past. If that's all of that's true, then every waking moment is about fixing the past and getting even and all that other stuff. Do you know anybody like that? Me sometimes.
Me a lot of times.
But we have whole systems based on that. That's the right thing to do, right? Is to fix it, take responsibility, and you fix it, right? But have you ever? But we also know, if you really know something, you change your behavior, right? If you really learned the lesson, a behavior changes when you really learn the lesson. So it isn't about making up for something or vengeance or anything. What we're asking for is a change of behavior when we recognize the truth. are we going to change our behavior, our beliefs, and what we do based on this knowledge? If we can see it in ourselves, we can certainly see it in others. We can certainly see the problems that it's caused in our own life. Do we want... There is where she jumps off. She says, this world isn't real.
Yeah.
This construction over and over and over again of this world that has to be, this past that has to be corrected is a dilemma and a job you really don't want, and you really can't do anyway. Right? You can't fix the past because it's even your memory of it's wrong. Right? Probably not even accurate. So we're going to go into that. So that is a real dilemma on our ability to be present, because the purpose to being present is to look for ways to get even in the past. So it's not possible. There is no way of being present and seeking vengeance.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way of being. There's no way of dealing or fixing with the past or trying to secure a future and be present.
Right.
It doesn't happen. So catch yourself when we slip into the paradigm. That's all. Listen. So keep going.
Oh wow. Okay, hold on to your seats, folks.
Hello.
Here we go.
I know, this is what we had a really good time. You'll see why.
This is fun. All right. Paragraph 3. The ego is completely savage and completely insane.
You know this, right? We were talking about this earlier. How mean, savage and
completely insane.
Savage.
It's so crazy. Wow. For the ego remembers everything you have done that has offended it and seeks retribution of you. Oh my God. She's just laying it out there. She's calling it out. All right. Yet without your alliance in your own destruction, the ego could not hold you to the past.
The alliance.
That's amazing. Your alliance to your own destruction. The ego could not hold you to the past. In the special relationship you are allowing your destruction to be. The past is gone. Seek not to preserve it in the special relationship that binds you to it and would teach you salvation is past, so you must return to the past to find salvation. There is no fantasy that does not contain the dream of retribution for the past. Would you act out the dream or let it go? Let go of grievances, just a little bit of willingness to accept forgiveness, and we are free.
Who's free?
We are free.
So, savagery and insanity, we can recognize it in the world, in the systems, and we can recognize it in ourselves at times. We certainly recognize it. We can certainly recognize it in loved ones, and have certainly tried to shake it out of them a few times. It's the insane part.
Oh yeah.
The qualities of an identity-infused ego are, she says, keeping score, and not accurately either. Seeking retribution and vengeance. We place our identity in the ego self. This is what happens. We have fantasies about the past and the future. Fantasies means they are not going to happen and they never did happen. Fantasies. And it holds the past, your story, against you. That's the qualities of when we place an identity in the character. And she gives us a couple of reminders. An alliance with the ego, the alliance with the character, causes the pain and suffering that the character is promising to get us out of. Or this ego, this investment in the character as ourselves, this creates an ego. That's what she's talking about. It ruins the present moment. It makes it inaccessible to our experience. We're still in it. There's nowhere else to be, but we don't have conscious. We're not doing a conscious awareness of it. So we're not participating in creation really. We're being held in the gentle arms of God. So the present and all knowledge and all power that is desirable, that we say that's just why we're going after, we're pursuing this or doing this. The dilemma now, if that's the case, to really be honest about wanting to be all you can be. The dilemma becomes, how do I let go of the story of where I've been and where I'm supposed to go, and be here now for the power of what is, to make good decisions, so I have the experience of awakening, right? Because it's like, show me awakening. But see, Glen isn't going to awaken.
Right.
That isn't a project. Like, Glen is not going to get vengeance, and it's not going to be, that doesn't happen. That's the letting go. For me, what I understand today is the letting go part. Letting go of trying to get anything for Glen. Right?
Right.
Even the good wishes or well wishes, or like be a good, the good citizen, the Blue Ribbon Good Citizen Award. I want to, he wears a hat well award. I definitely want that one. But it's like, I'm already taken care of. Right. There's no need. See, the vengeance and stuff means there's maybe more going on here. Let's find out. Keep going.
We're moving down to paragraph 5 now. And if you're following along, we're just taking particular phrases and sentences from each paragraph. So this is about the third one down. Okay, yet the one thing the ego never allows to reach awareness is that the special relationship is the acting out of vengeance on yourself.
That's how it works.
In seeking the special relationship, you look not for glory in yourself.
Right, because you're fixing your... So the crux of it, what we want to see is where we are misplacing our own glory. Wow. She says we placed it in other people, or we placed it in a thing, or we placed it in a location, or we placed it in a group of events, or whatever we've done accidentally.
Yeah.
The special relationship is about fixing the past. It's about fixing those triggers. To see them as she asks us to see this desire for vengeance as self-harm. Like, you gotta hurt yourself before you hurt anybody else, basically. To see the desire to have vengeance on anybody else is self-harm. And it does, it ruins your brain.
Yeah, it does.
It can ruin it.
It really can, cause problems.
It's poisonous, right?
It's poisonous, yeah.
So, and she says the special relationship keeps us in an outward focused way.
Yeah.
Problems to solve, things to do, people to go, places to be, somebody, a person to inhabit, right? An important person to inhabit.
There you go.
Very important person. And beautiful. And rich. Don't forget beautiful and rich. The result is the character, vengeance, is substituted for our own authenticity, our own glory in the world, what is true expression of our glory. And this choosing not to have vengeance, like really actively trying to let go of that story, it does feel like losing. Because the ego is losing. And that is how much we are still placing our identity in the ego. It's absolutely the only way that hurts our feelings is if the ego isn't the one that is glorified. And we don't want to glorify the ego. We want to just let the ego go, because it occurs by saying that it is me.
Right.
And this character is not a part of the learning device, which is what the Course in Miracles says. All the Glen and all this is all part of the material world, fourth principle of God, which Regina says.
Right.
All of it's there. It's not and could never be me.
Right.
So keep going.
Okay, paragraph 6. Against the ego's insane notion of salvation, the Holy Spirit gently lays the holy instant. This right here, yes.
No, it's enough.
This is where it is.
It's enough.
In the holy instant, it is understood that the past is gone, and with its passing, the drive for vengeance has been uprooted and has disappeared. Yes.
It's a drive.
In the holy instant, the power of the Holy Spirit will prevail. because you joined him. The illusions you bring with you will weaken the experience of him for a while and will prevent you from keeping the experience in your mind.
It's very gentle.
You will receive because it is his will to give. He gave the holy instant to be given you, and it is impossible that you receive it not because he gave it. We can't not be in the moment. We're here. Whether we're planning or doing or whatever we're doing, we're still in the moment. When he willed that his son be free, his son was free.
Then that's what she calls freedom. This
Right.
instant. So the holy instant
This moment is your home.
This moment is your home. I love that. The holy instant is the stillness and the peace of now that is unfolding in gentleness. It's gently unfolding, not violent. The moment isn't violent. It is stillness. Its qualities are stillness and peace and gentleness unfolding. Now, for the ego, salvation is fixing the past. It's about getting even, right? Settling the score. The Holy Spirit's salvation is this holy instant. It's only the truth. Because what do we say? We're saved from salvation. We are saved from illusions, and we are saved for the moment. Salvation. Because we all want only truth. Only the truth of our glory and our power is going to satisfy us. Learning and trusting that is the journey. And the task now is skills development. The task really is getting better and better and better at being present and being in this holy instant and finding satisfaction where it can be found. I am as God created me. I am already enough. I was given it. It's mine. It's my inheritance. It says in the beginning of the opening thing. This authenticity, this freedom to be me, like the book says, free to be me.
Truly
Are you free to be you? How free are we? How free are you?
Well, you know,
To be present.
yeah, exactly. And that's the gift of my travels this past couple of weeks, is to really learn how to be present in challenging situations. Seriously.
Better things happen, right? You make better decisions. You're looking right at the situation and not trying to fix something. Don't you look at things differently when you're trying to assess and learn than you are trying to apply and control?
And
Isn't that a different mindset?
It is.
What
It is.
mindset are we going to keep working with and keep doing our skills development in?
Yeah.
We want the still, peaceful, gentle mind that this moment is showing us. So even if we're busting out all inside, we can say, I know that there is gentleness and calmness and stuff here. If I could see it, if I could learn to see correctly. I'm gentle. I'm not violent. I'm gentle. I'm enough.
There is no cruelty in
There's
God.
no cruelty in God,
And none
there's
in
none
me.
in me.
I
right?
love that. That
So
was
it's
so perfect for me. So perfect every day.
These are just ways of being human. It's also growing up, but there are real spiritual costs to building and living in a world like this. So go ahead.
All right. Paragraph 9. There is nothing you can hold against reality. All that must be forgiven are the illusions you have held against your brothers.
Okay, now she's going to double down and say, so what is this moment? Why is this? Why do this?
So, release your brothers from the slavery of their illusions by forgiving them for the illusions you perceive in them.
Ooh.
Thus will you learn that you have been forgiven.
Read that release again.
Yeah, no, that is so...
It's pretty succinct. She's just pretty
Oh, my
direct.
goodness.
Read it again.
Release your brothers from the slavery of their illusions by forgiving them for the illusions you perceive in them. Thus will you learn that you have been
Okay.
forgiven.
Okay, she's given us the conditions of heaven now, or the conditions, or the slavery of illusions.
Illusions.
Remember the slavery of illusions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold nothing against reality. You know, up against, you know, it's like no, try not to have filters, right? You are going to have them,
Yeah.
but try not to invent them and reinforce them. You know,
Or notice them.
or
and
just
bring
notice
them
them,
to
and
awareness.
right?
Yeah.
To bring them to awareness. That's what you. So hold nothing against reality, and the request is to let go of the narrative, to let go of the story we tell,
Yeah.
to let go of the character, of the main character in this story, in this narrative of things that have to be fixed and who I am and who did it wrong and keeping score and remember all that stuff. Release yourself and the world from this, and she calls this slavery. She says acting like this in the world, trying to create a world like this, is a slave narrative. She asks for forgiveness, to release what we think other people are supposed to be doing. We've enslaved the world to behave in a certain way, slaved this person into behaving in a certain way, enslaved this other person into behaving this other certain way, and run roughshod on how they perform what I say they should do. She says that this is
a lot of work.
This is slavery.
It is slavery.
It's a slavery to vengeance.
Yeah.
And she says they are incompatible with the conditions of heaven, which
Right.
is what we want, and it's your power and it's your glory. So why are we chasing down other people to fix when we could be experiencing our own glory? Well, it looks like an easier project to fix the world than it does to actually experience our own glory. That looks like a better idea, doesn't it? Right? Because that gives me something to do. I can fix things, and I can shame people. I can get angry.
I know.
Oh my God, I have a wealth of things I can do if I try to fix other people.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? I'll become a politician.
Oh.
You know, that's what I'll do. I'll become a politician. Yeah, that'll fix everything. That'll make people stop doing that thing.
Rhoda's laughing.
Right? It can't. This is not a good project. That is just not a good project. You know, it ruined. It's a way of being, and it's a brain. It's a way of looking at the world. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? And she says, "Can you see through how everything and the past and what the world tells you is valuable is a big old is poopy? It's like." You know,
Shauna says,
no fixing.
No fixing.
You know, fixing with a line through
That's
it,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, I
so
love that.
that's and she says, when we do that, we give up noticing that we are standing in the conditions of heaven and we don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleness is here.
It is.
The beauty is here. The glory is here. Read the last bit. I kind of went off, and now we're running late.
Okay,
So
let's just
read.
Okay, this one. Okay, here we go. We're on paragraph 10.
Yeah.
Be an ally of God and not the ego in seeking how atonement can come to you. His help suffices, for his messenger understands how to restore the kingdom to you and to place all of your investment in salvation, in your relationship with him.
There you go.
There
Where
you
does
go.
the choice is truth or illusion, right? Real atonement, oneness, or ego atonement, vengeance. Be an ally to God. Like, be willing to do what is yours to do. Like, listen, do what is yours to do. However small or big or whatever it is, it's yours to do. The power of God without limit is just the offer, the choice. The power of God without limit, or suffering and the life of this character that needs all this fixing. So she says there's a Wahi Guru in us. There's the seek of the messenger within to learn how, to teach us how to restore the kingdom in our own mind, to be able to see it in this moment and see it now. Next paragraph. And we're gonna. This is so cool.
This is, a beautiful wrap up. So this is 11 and 12 paragraphs 11 and 12. The miracle extends to bless everyone and to resolve all problems. Hallelujah. Be they perceived as great or small, possible or impossible. To join in close relationship with Him is to accept relationships as real, and through their reality to give over all illusions for the reality of your relationship with God.
Woo!
And here's a prayer that she ends this chapter with. Forgive us our illusions, Father, and help us to accept our true relationship with you, in which there are no illusions, and where none can ever enter. Our holiness is yours. What can there be in us that needs forgiveness when yours is perfect? The sleep of forgetfulness is only the unwillingness to remember your forgiveness and your love. Let us not wander into temptation, for the temptation of the Son of God is not your will. And let us receive only what you have given, and accept but this into the minds which you created and which you love. Amen.
So that's you probably heard it, but that's kind
Sounds
of
like the Lord's Prayer,
ACIM's
yeah.
version of the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
So, holy relationships are the holy instant, not seen, not heard, but truly there. Our relationship. The answer to any problem is solved by seeing it correctly, by being in reality. And that's if that's our project. You want something to fix, see correctly.
There you go.
Make that the project. If you really do want to make things better and it should be fixed, use that motivation to be present to see what is happening, actually going on. So I wrote this. The temptation is to become a slave to illusions. We have a great deal of encouragement to cater to correcting the hurts of the past. The best way to forgive ourselves is to become present to the glory that is all around us and lives as us. The holy instant is a relationship with what is. It is us, all that is. We, as spirit, temporarily over-identify with our humanity, our story in this world, and our unique character in it. Our relationships are here pointing to our oneness. Our relationships are here now pointing to this present where we're satisfied. This is the kingdom of heaven. We can see our story and not act on it. We make decisions based on togetherness, as togetherness. Taking identity out of the character brings a joy and a freedom that the world cannot produce, because it is our shared glory. And on that notion, happy 4th of July. I'm your favorite anarchist preacher. This is the love of my life, the Reverend Yolanda, and I'm so grateful for your practice. It makes it all possible.
I really am grateful for your practice too, because, you know, Glenn likes to call this our practice community, and it really, really makes a huge difference to us to be with you and to practice with you. It's wonderful. So thank you for being open to our sharing today and for listening to us teach ourselves, you know.
There's a prayer wheel. Can you hear it? There's a prayer wheel going. Can you hear it?
All right, we love you. We'll see you next time, and of course we're going to be here for the night, but thank you.
Stay tuned.